magician.
Hey YouTube, Dog Magician 84 here, back in the garden on this fine sunny day in May, and I'm here with a top 10 video for you. The top 10 times that I've been robbed of victory in a duel, or at least it felt like I was robbed, or at least some sort of comeback. But yeah, before I begin, a disclaimer. I don't mean any offence to any of the opponents that were involved here. It's nothing personal or anything like that. You know, I have nothing against them at all. You know, I'm just simply saying that these were situations where I was just simply robbed of victory, or at least that's what it felt like. And these weren't even from misplays or anything, so I'm not counting them. Although you could argue that maybe not knowing about certain card effects or forgetting about certain card effects might be considered a misplay, but that's up for debate, so let's just carry on. Starting with number 10, that time in a battle royal where Performer Pal Sky Magician screwed me over. This was in one of the four-way battle royals between me, Weber's 5, Dragon Monster 25, and Starlight William Magician. I can't remember if it was just me and Weber's 5 left standing, but yeah, he had a pretty insane board, which did include Millennium Eyes Restrict, and what happened was I was able to bait a negate from it, and I think he was below 3,000 life points, I'm not sure, and there was only one way I could clear his board. Master of Chaos, which I did manage to successfully summon, and it did have Sky Magician on board, so the plan was to use the effect, banish his monsters, and attack the game, and that way Dark Magician could finally get a win over Endymion. I mean, this was before that remote duel match where I was able to do it once and for all. Unfortunately, Sky Magician screwed me over, because what I didn't know until that point was Performer Pal Sky Magician had an effect where if it leaves the field, it destroys a card on the field. That just threw me off and changed everything. And I couldn't really do much besides retrieve circle, activate it, and then he was able to set up a board which would have won him the whole thing. Of course, I think I just scooped. But yeah, like I said, it just completely threw me off. Now, you could argue that this is one of those situations where it's like, this is what happens when Yu-Gi-Oh! Players don't read, but sometimes there's more to it than just reading. I mean, reading is one thing, having knowledge beforehand is another. And in my defence, I didn't know that Sky Magician had a card destroying effect. I hardly ever encountered the card. I think I only encountered it one time before in a Dead Universe Comics Royal Rumble in 2017. And the only effect I was made aware of was its effect to switch continuous spells around and gain 300. And like I said, I didn't know it had a card destroying effect. But even if I did know beforehand, I probably would have done the whole play with Master of Chaos anyway and hoped for the best, but but otherwise I don't know what else I could have done, really. But yeah, I probably would have done it anyway, and I hoped he couldn't do anything, and then on my next turn, I would have hoped I could get something that could finish him off, but yeah, that just wasn't the case. I mean, I was so disappointed. I thought I could finally get a win over Endymion at that point, and I just got straight up denied. Oh well. Number 9, Magician Girls against Melfi's. This was during that couples tournament that me and Emma did around about Christmas time 2023, because this was when I was trying to win a tournament of some kind with Magician Girls. And I was able to set up a board which would have been able to do enough damage to finish her off and win me the game. I think I had, because I had 2 copies of Kiwi in hand, I think. And, you know, I knew I had to try and go for game, because I knew that, I don't know if she, because I knew she could do something that could get, like, a Joyce Melfi or 2 on board and wipe out my life points, so I had to try and go for game. There was just one problem, though. Staring contest. Yeah, I think what happened was I forgot she could still do that and weaken my monsters, and because of that, I didn't have enough on board to basically finish her off. And then she had the ability to use Joyce Melfi's to attack me directly and finish me off as well. Okay, so maybe this isn't really a case of being robbed of victory. It's one of those cases where it just kind of felt like I was. So that's why this and the whole thing with Sky Magician is at the bottom, basically. Yeah. I was gutted. But it was still fun all the same. Number 8. The first encounter against Goatee when I used Dark Magician and Fusion Friends. Now, at the time, I'd never played against Goatee before, so I wasn't sure what to make of them and what they were about. But I was doing quite well to start off with. I did some damage prior, and I was able to set up a board of Rainbow Neos, Dark Magician, and I think I had something else, but I knew that if I used Rainbow Neos' first effect, I could just go for game, and I did have game on board. The problem was he did something to, the opponent did something to banish cards on my board. I think it involved quick synchro shenanigans. I forget what it was exactly, but he did something that disrupted me and banished me, and it just completely threw me off. Yeah, it was just so annoying. Just due to the fact that I did have game on board and I got stopped just like that. So maybe it's I don't know, maybe like the other two, it's not, probably not a case where I was necessarily robbed of victory, although that's what it felt like. But yeah, ever since then, I've just hated goatees. They're just so annoying to play against. Number 7, a certain matchup between Prismagician and Macro, basically from 2009. Now, this wasn't. Now, this is generally a bad matchup anyway, but this one was memorable, but not in a good way. Because, well, two bullshit things happened throughout this match. Game 1, Macro was on the field just stopping me play, and I was able to MST it, only for Gillett, my opponent, to flip up another one, and I was just forced to scoop. But luckily I did have a secret weapon, Imperial Iron Wall. It was my only way to stop him banishing my stuff. Like I said, this is a terrible matchup, because I need the graveyard to be able to play, otherwise I just auto-lose. But yeah, what happened in Game 1 wasn't as bullshit as what happened in Game 2. And I did actually see Imperial Iron Wall and basically kill his deck. The problem was, I was getting dead draws, and then I kept getting beaten down by Iron Chain Dragon, which was milling really good cards, while in turn I was just drawing some bad ones. Yeah, that was just absolute bullshit. Like, this was by far one of the most bullshit duels ever. I don't know why I didn't list it in that other top 10 video where I went through bullshit duels. But yeah, I really did feel robbed of victory, because I had a way to just outright stop his deck so I could have a chance of being able to play, and then I just didn't get good draws. So annoying. Number 6, the time where I played Dark Magic Sworn against Malefics, only to get fucked over by end of match procedure. Now, I did talk about this one before. In fact, this was the last tournament that I'd ever used Dark Magic Sworn. But yeah, to summarise, I managed to win Game 1. Game 2, I lost because Skill Drain basically fucks me over, and I was stuck behind Malefic Cyber End Dragon plus Mound of the Bound Creator, and I just wasn't drawing any back row removal, because I needed to get rid of Skill Drain so I could have a chance, but that just didn't happen. And then Game 3, by that point time was called, so it was 4-turn rule, and I went first, did something, then the opponent did something and did loads of damage, and on my turn I did have a way to get rid of Malefic Cyber End, which was with Starleash Paladynamo. The problem was I could only do 2,000 points of damage, and I couldn't get my life points higher. But the bullshit thing was that I could have turned things around if I had more time. And that's what made it feel like I was just robbed of victory. Then again, this was a matchup that I shouldn't have even lost anyway, because I was playing a variant of Light Swans, and Malefics aren't exactly competitive. And just in general, they should be easy to beat, but it just wasn't the case, and I was like, how the hell do I lose to Malefics with Light Swans? Just, how is that possible? So yeah, basically, it was end of match procedure that robbed me of victory. Alright, yeah, there was no guarantee that I would have won the match, but I like to think I could have at least turned it around. Yeah, it wasn't a good time. Number 5, another Prismagician game, and I think this was either during a city tournament or a Fortune Tour qualifier back in 2008, but I was playing Prismagician against an old friend of mine, Matt V, who was playing Red Eyes Black Dragon, and I did win game 1. Game 2 was quite even. It was a nice back and forth, and I had a pretty good board, and I did have the ability to win on the following turn, and then he top decked Lightning Vortex, played it, nuked my field, then got out Red Eyes Black Dragon and something else and just attacked for game, and then at that point time on the round was called as well. So I think I went first, started off with a Prisma, milled out Dark Magician. He then summoned a Luster Dragon, and attacked over, did 200, set a back row, ended, and I think I don't know what I did. I think I did have Prisma or Stratos, and I did have a way to clear a back row at least, which I did do, and he changed Scapegoat. I think I might have had 1,000 Knives as well, which I could have used to pop the Luster Dragon, but yeah, the annoying thing was I didn't have a way to special summon Dark Magician from the grave in my hand. Otherwise, I would have been able to bring Dark Magician back, just attack and destroy Luster Dragon, and my life points would have been higher. But because of Scapegoat, I couldn't get to his life points. Yeah, that it just really sucked. And I was already one game down prior. Yeah. Scapegoat just robbed me of victory there. Well, then again, I guess it would have depended on what he would have done on the second turn, but yeah, I just really felt robbed of victory there. Number 4, another one involving Prismagician. This time it was against gadgets used by Seb on Web, and it did go to a third game, and it was actually a good fun back and forth, and our life points were slowly being whittled down, and I think I did have Dark Magician and something else on the field, and basically I had game on board. I attacked, did damage with someone, and he dropped Tragodia. I think I was able to get rid of it, but I couldn't quite wipe him out, and then he basically did something to clear my board, and leave me on 300, whereas he was on 100, so it was down to my next draw to try and turn things around. The problem was I got a dead draw, and I had to scoop. Yeah, I was just so gutted and disappointed. Yeah, Tragodia just robbed me of victory there. Number 3, a more recent one from one of the Edison games between Rainbow Neos and Flemville Swarm. I think it was the 11th attempt, and I did manage to clear the board, and because I was able to do some big damage before, so a direct attack from Rainbow Neos would win me the game. The problem was Necrogardener stopped me, and it was limited during the time of Edison. It's like Necrogardener was there in this situation, and Dark Magic Couple was able to clear the board, clear my board, and just finish me off afterwards. So yeah, it was a frustrating setback. I think it was only game 1, so there was still a chance that Rainbow Neos could finally get a win over Flemville Swarm, but it was just another failed attempt in the end. But I'm pretty sure I did win game 2. I can't remember, but yeah, it was just annoying. I could have won game 1 and the whole match if Necrogardener wasn't there. Uh-oh. Sorry about that. For sake, I forgot where I was at. I think I already covered the Rainbow Neos versus Flemville Swarm thing. So yeah, let's move on to number 2, finally. So in at number 2, Forbidden Lance on High Speed Roid Chanbara. This goes back to that locals where I was playing Speed Roids and was making a temporary comeback to tournaments because I was out to specifically defeat certain people who kept banishing my Dark Magician in previous tournament games, one of which was Giorgio, who I think was playing Kashtira. So it was game 2. I had him on exactly 2200 life points left, and I managed to get out High Speed Roid Chanbara. Wait, no, it wasn't Chanbara. It was the level 6 one. Wait, what was the name of it? The one that does piercing and can banish a speed roid from grave and burn the opponent for 500. I should know this since I've been playing speed roids for a while and still have the deck. Oh, fuck, why can't I remember? Hang on. Kendama, that was it. High Speed Roid Kendama. This is what happens when I don't play them that much these days. But yeah, it was Kendama, so I went to attack the game, thinking I could finally get my revenge on him at least, and he dropped Forbidden Lance, and he basically survived. But that's not where the bullshittery ends. He then top decks Change of Heart and takes control of it, because I wasn't exactly on high life points either. But I was like, fuck this, I'm scooping. I'm not giving you the satisfaction. Yeah, I'm sorry, but that really was bullshit. If it hadn't been for Forbidden Lance followed by Change of Heart, I could have won and got revenge and taken it to a third game. But no. It was mainly Lance that just straight up denied me. Along with the fact that this is exactly why Change of Heart should not have been unbanned. It's just one of those degenerate sacky cards with no cost and no drawback that just steals games just like that. And finally, in at number 1, the time when Archer was topped against me and it burnt me, and I lost on end of match procedure because of it. So yeah, this dates back to what was it? The third skeleton character tournament, and I was using my Yugi deck in this one, and Weber's 5 was playing a Yuma deck, but it was running certain Xyz monsters that were being played in various meta decks. Nova Infinity, Telenite Ptolemaeus. Is that the one? The one that lets you bring out an Xyz monster that's not a number. But yeah, it was an engine that was being played before that emergency ban list in 2016, where decks that could make rank 4s were playing it. But this was one of the last events where it could be used before that list went into effect. Anyway, it went to a third game, and it was a good close game, and a close enjoyable match. And it came to end of match procedure, and it got to a point where I was on 2200 and he was on 2100, and I was just doing what I can to basically keep my life points safe, and try and stop him turning the tide, basically. And his turn was the fourth and final turn, and yeah, that's when Archer was top decked against me, and I was like, "You're fucking kidding me," or something along those lines, and I had no monster effect negation that could, like in my hand or on the board. Yeah, literally no way to counter it. Yeah, I'm sorry, but it was just absolute bullshit. Like, if literally anything else had been drawn, I could have won and gone like undefeated in Swiss, at least up to that point. But I forget what my results were after that, but I know I did top regardless. But yeah, I really did feel robbed of victory there. Yeah, again, this is one of those reasons why I hate end of match procedure, because like, just one sacky card can just change everything just like that. So yeah, those were all the times where I was basically robbed of victory in a duel. But yeah, feel free to let me know in the comments if there's been any situations where you guys felt robbed of victory. I mean, it's interesting to hear these sorts of stories. And yeah, that's all I got. Thanks for watching, stay safe, and I'll see you later. Bye. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the Dark Magician YouTube channel.